Back to Iceland for day 2 and event 2, event 5 overall in the Magnusson Strongman Classic. Who better to explain where we are today than the man himself? Magnus, we are on hallowed ground. Where are we?
We are at Húsafell, and we are here at the old sheep's carroll. And the Húsafell stone is about to be carried. Now, the Húsafell stone actually has a history. It was supposed to be, as legend says, it was the gate for the... hold on. Have you gone? All right. So, it says the stone was a gate for the sheep's cattle. And the legend says the farmer's daughter picked that stone up and walked one revolution with it. That must have been some woman.
And some man, because this is an incredible feat of strength. So we have Pavlo, who had a slightly disappointing performance in the front hold earlier on. This is his very first time holding this. It's crucial to remind ourselves there's no tacky allowed on this. The conditions have deteriorated.
It's done one revolution. Now the record is 2 revolutions plus a little bit more. Two revolutions is 70 meters.
Right, okay.
The record is 83.90.
Thank you very much. So Pavlo has done about, let's call it a 1 1/4 revolutions. And we said one revolution is how long, Maggie?
1 revolution is 35 meters.
Thank you.
2 revolutions is 70 meters. So the record is two revolutions plus
a little bit.
13 plus 13.90.
Thank you. Okay, yes. So almost he's 1 revolution short of the current world record, roughly speaking.
Yes.
So he's done about an extra 30 metres on top of the 35, so it should be around the 48 metre mark. Killy's come in just to let us know exactly, and it's 47 metres. So he's laid the marker down at 47 metres. And just very quickly, Killy, you're giving us the scores here, but you also are a big fan of strength and conditioning. You're a strength and conditioning coach.
Yeah, that's true. I am.
And also a former strongman yourself.
Not a former. I'm just on a hiatus for now. But yeah, I've been around for a few years.
He's been recovering after a bicep tear.
Yeah. And in terms of yourself, when you see young people coming into this sport, if you were to say one piece of advice, what would that generally be? That maybe an idiot who walks into the gym like myself likes to bicep curl, but doesn't necessarily like to train like a strong man. Would you have any advice?
Take your time. You need to build up from a solid foundation, so just take your time, do the work, and it'll all build up to something great.
And for anyone to get in touch with yourself, what can they do? Are you on Instagram?
I'm on Instagram, Kelivars, hashtag, the @ symbol, and you can find me there, Facebook.
Thank you very much. And in case you're wondering how strong he is a ginger Viking beard, which means he's officially strong. So you'll see Killy throughout the day. He'll be giving us the scores and the distances. So 46 metres is the current mark to beat. So we now have one of the tallest men in the field. We have the man. Thank you very much, Big Teddy.
Now this should be good for Teddy. Long arms, tall. You know, every time he takes a step, normal people take 2 steps.
Yeah. Now he can also wrap his arms almost around it, but the issue is he still has that injury from yesterday, that cut finger.
Yeah. So, but he's doing good. That's 1 revolution, and he's still going strong.
That is not very firm footing here. It's not the best conditions. He's fighting. Go on, Teddy. A brilliant effort in the end. Look at that, his arms are aloft. This event in particular means so much to the guys here because of what you said, the history and the legend.
Oh yeah, and I think he's worked with the Húsafell stone before. I think that might have been his best performance so far with it. So, yeah, he seemed delighted, so there must be.
No, it's Paro Dwyer up next. Now, Paro himself loves anything that involves stones. Now, interestingly, he's keeping himself fairly covered up at the moment. We've got the likes of Matt Riddle, who we'll see shortly. Rongo Keane has been topless so far, but Parr is going for a much more insulated option and keeping himself and his muscles warm. So Teddy has now raised the bar to 52.3 metres. So we reckon that is around, thank you very much, Kelly. So that is around just shy of 1.5 revolutions. But Maggie, given the conditions, given the footing, will that change how the guys place their feet?
Possibly, you know, we put some salt down so they wouldn't slip as much, and so it should be okay. But it's slightly rainy, so the stone is a bit wet, and that does change things. Now, Villiers says it's not going to change anything for him, but we'll see.
And Villiers, for reminding, is the man with the current world record. And just to let us know, Maggie, how heavy is the Húsafell stone?
The Húsafell stone is 186 kilos.
Which, by the way, it really surprised me when I found that out. It doesn't look nearly as heavy as that. It's a sneaky rock.
Oh, it's really, really compact.
Parr's getting it to his knees. He's getting his hands in position, and off he goes. I'll be very curious. Now, just for context, Parr actually injured himself in the last stone event, which was the third event on yesterday, where he unfortunately dropped one of the natural stones on the VMO part of his quadricep, which will not help him here, but he's also as hard as nails. So he'll be blocking that out.
He, like I said, he said yesterday, you know, he loves stones. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does here.
It's quite difficult to actually see where you're going as well, because you can see the actual stone is above his line of sight.
Yeah, but this is difficult. Now this is not like walking on a normal track.
Right.
It goes up and down a hill and up a slope, and it makes it way harder.
What's also awesome is this Húsafell stone, the Húsafell stone in Húsafell, actually lives here.
Yeah, it stays here all year round. This is like a natural treasure.
Yeah.
And I think it's not supposed to go anywhere.
And as a strongman fan, it's actually a privilege just to be here, just to witness this and think that 1,000 years ago, this area would still look pretty similar.
Yeah, well, you know, I came here years and years ago. I think we were doing a competition in December, and we had to dig 2 feet of snow away so we could walk with the stone.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the scores and the doors for that one. So Parr, currently in third place, 41 metres on that one. Thank you very much, Killy. So Parr in third place. We have Teddy in second, and we have Pavlo Pavlo in second, and Teddy currently leading proceedings. So it appears it's in height order. So height is currently helping the guys.
Well, now we got the record holder coming.
Yes! Right, so, for context, if you are just joining us, Villiers from Lithuania, the world record holder in this event, 2 revolutions and change is what he needs. 2 revolutions plus 13 metres. Now we'll see with the very first rogue sign after they begin to walk, he'll need to go a little bit past that after his second revolution in order to match his own world record. Now, although tacky isn't allowed, he does have something on his forearms, Maggie. For the uninitiated, what's that?
We allow tacky towels. They give you a slight, little more grip, and a chalk, of course. But again, you know, we have wet conditions today. Stone is wet. Compared to last year, it was really dry and nice, but he did the records. And like I said before, 4 people actually last year walked further than the old record. But see how fast he walks with it.
He's going unbelievably quick. He's also going for Nike trainers, so he hasn't adopted for a walking boot or anything like that. He's going for light trainers. Now he is looking, oh my goodness gracious, he's already about a few seconds away from a second revolution. This is where it will determine how close he can get to his own world record. He's not a million miles from this one. How close can he get? A few more steps, Villiers.
Close to it.
A few more steps.
Close to it.
He's sideways walking. He's battling. He's fighting. He wants to break his own world record in this legendary event. Will it be enough? We are about to find out. That was a colossal effort in awful conditions here in the Húsafell Stone Carry, the iconic strongman event. I'll tell you what, safe to say, all the strongmen here and the crowd in attendance will be absolutely elated if he even gets anywhere close to it. And Maggie, he's not a massive guy either.
No, but he's so fast on his feet, so explosive as well. And he's got good muscle endurance.
Muscle endurance, he's got aplenty. There's no question here. I'm almost tempted to run over to find out how close we are to this record. And a reminder, Maggie, was it 83?
83.90.
83.90. Now I'm looking at 83.61.
Was it 82?
And we're going to wait to get the official scores and the doors in. So 83.61. What did you think was the original record?
I'm going to have to check. It's
We're gonna-
82? Was it 82.90?
Let me check.
Now we're going to do it the old school way
I'd
here.
be saying it wrong. Get Williams over here.
Villiers! This is, I do apologise for this lack of professionalism, by the way. We're just going to shout because we want to find out if it's the record. What did we think the original record was?
83.9. I remember last year.
So he was 30 centimetres shy of the world record.
I believe so.
So as things stand, unofficially, he is the length of a primary school ruler away from breaking his own world record. If you think about that as the best part of 100 metres, and he was that far short of it, what an unbelievable effort, especially in these conditions, Maggie.
Well, he had better conditions last year with it, definitely. So even just get that distance now with the stone a bit wet and all that, that's amazing. It just makes me think, what could he have done?
What could he have done?
With the better conditions.
Yes, and he came here and he said he was going to break the world record. He ostensibly matched it in, like you say, not the most favourable conditions. However, just to chuck a curveball into the mix. Now, interestingly, Shane, by the way, who's up next, Shane Flowers, was leading the field, is now third, has taken a puff of his inhaler. I'm an asthmatic. What doesn't help my asthma is cold air. He's going to be sucking a lot of air in.
Yep.
And he's come here to do some damage. Will that inspire other strongmen to possibly encroach on that distance? So Shane, a slightly slower athlete compared to, I think they'll all be slower than him.
Williams goes so fast with it, it's unreal.
Now Shane is going, he's taken a slightly wider route than we saw with Villiers, who by the way has walked behind the camera and has gone just to take a rest. Dare I say, possibly show us what he had to breakfast earlier on. Now Shane is battling with everything he's got
He's
after.
still fighting it.
Now that looks like that's good enough for second place, because these centimetres, these metres, this is what will separate
everything
the positions.
counts,
Everything counts, and he knows how important it is, having seen Villiers' performance and a superb one at that.
He's giving it all. He's giving it all.
That was
Everything
worthy.
he has.
That was worthy
Yeah.
of this event. What a brilliant effort that was. And it's amazing to see the guys go sideways. It makes no sense, but obviously when you're that fatigued.
Well, it's kind of, your muscles get so pumped. There's so much lactic acid building up that actually, if you turn and go sideways a little bit, you're slightly using muscles in a different way that are not as fatigued.
You know what? That was also an advert for all the asthmatics out there. If you can do that with 186 kilograms on your chest, then I'd say you're winning the battle of asthma. What a superb performance that was. So that was Shane. It's Matt Riddle to go next. Now, Matt, he's going for the topless option. Now, we say skin to win. I'll put it out there. It's not going to be nice with a cold stone that's going to be slipping down his torso.
No, it's not.
Let's get the score for Shane Flowers, 68 metres. That was a brilliant battle at the end there. So Shane very much in second place. 68 is the mark to beat, and then in third place currently is still Teddy with 52. So 16 metres separating first and second, and about 16 metres again separating second and third.
Well,
So
Anders Gudmundsson, that was really good at this, had the record before it was broken last year. And I've told you about this time when we were here in December, it was covered in snow. We had to dig the stone up actually,
wow.
and, and dig around here so he could walk around, and he did it shirtless.
Did he?
He did.
So there's history. In
And
Only a strong man.
and it was pretty much frost here, so it kind of almost like
Stuck to his skin.
his chest. Yeah.
He went no hands. Now, if you ever speak to Matt, who it's safe to say has the best beard in strongman, He loves this. He loves being here. He loves competing here. For him, it's not about trying to win. It's about being amongst his peers who he has an enormous amount of respect for. He's taken a very spiritual side to this land and really feels the Viking
He's not
spirit.
getting the feel for the stone. He's not getting the feel for how to grab it.
So what would be the technique here, Maggie?
Well, originally he started it off like standing behind it, which does not work. You got to kind of stand over it, tilt it a little bit, get your hands on it, and pick it up that way. But he's going to try a different way. Let's see if that works out.
He's trying to flip it up, is he? Almost trying to power clean it up into position.
He's still standing behind it.
And what's amazing is the guys are giving him advice and support. These are his competitors.
I don't think this is going to happen.
He's trying to work this out. It can't be nice as well with his hands being incredibly cold. Sigfus is coming in to lend a bit of advice here. Now you can see the frustration on Matt's face. And that's his girlfriend there, who's undoing his belt. So it looks like he's going to be going beltless as well as shirtless here. Now there's a lot of pride with these guys. For them, it's about an event with so much history and so much legacy.
Well, everybody here wants to lift the stone, at least. Now to lift it is one thing, to take it for a walk is another thing.
Yeah, you can see with his hands as well. His hands are at the bottom of the stone. He's trying to get a grip, but because it's so slippy, because it's so wet, it's not making it easy at all. Now, Matt would love to do anything other than to walk away from this. He's going to call it quits there. He's raised his hands, a valiant effort. But something does tell me, Maggie, the strength is there. It was just, it wasn't the experience in knowing how to lift it.
No, it was going all about it, all in the wrong way. And, you know, unfortunately, that's not going to work.
Now,
actually, you know, people that are from here, that knows this stone,
yes,
there are handles on it. You can actually kind of tilt it, grab a hand, and it comes up to your lap in a different way. So like a leverage is up to you. But for the strong guys, they don't mess around with that because that takes a lot of energy. They just want to lift it straight up and go.
Which is exactly what Mika Toro has done here. Again, possibly the biggest man in the field. Now, just a little update for you. Vilius Ukusis has now officially vomited up his breakfast from this morning. That is the kind of dedication that man has given to hitting an almost world record and breaking his own world record. Now we're seeing Big Mika here. When his body gets filled with lactic, it is safe to say there's going to be a lot of lactic coursing around this man's physiology. Now he's hit a solid revolution there. He looks fairly exhausted. And how much of this is actually keeping enough air in your lungs for this?
Well, the thing is, you know, air is cold, but you want to be able to breathe. And you're walking, you're holding a heavy object, and it starts, you're not getting enough oxygen into your muscles, so lactic acid starts to build up, and eventually, if your grip doesn't go on it, your legs will go, you just can't move, you can't take another step.
The benefit of being one of the taller guys, especially someone like Teddy, is you can actually wrap your hands all the way around, which is not going to be the case for Sean Gillen, who comes up next. So that Mika Toro managed 43 metres there. So there's a spread, actually, of about 40 metres now between the guys. Vilius way out in front, having shown us his breakfast with 83.61 metres. 16 metres down from him is Shane Flowers, who managed 68 metres. That's going to take some beating alone. And then still, it's Big Teddy from Iceland with 52 metres. Up next, we're seeing Sean Gillen. Now, what's going to be interesting, Maggie, is Sean is a very thick man. He's a very wide man, but he doesn't have the lever length that we've seen some of the other guys. So he might have a challenge to get his arms around this thing.
Well, actually, you know, like, for example, the big bench presses or the guys with the big chest and all that, a lot of them actually have problems with an event like this because it actually puts the weight more in front of them.
Oh, okay, so we saw Sean have to recalibrate himself there, went slightly off to the left as he began, but he's moving quickly.
He's looking good.
Now, does it look like it's slipping slightly for you, Maggie, or is that just how fast he's moving?
It might be slightly sliding slightly, but he's still going good.
Now he's a big, strong man. The undulation on the actual footing that they've got really does make this challenging. And he's battling with everything he's got. And I'd say there's no question at the end there how much these guys have given. You see the exhaustion as soon as they dump that stone.
Oh yeah, this takes a lot out of you. And again, that woman that worked one revolution, what a woman.
Yeah, I would have loved to have seen that. Now, just context for actually the scores on the doors. So in terms of Sean Gillen, he's an equal fourth place. Going into this event, he was equal fourth with Vilius Jakousis. So how important that performance was for the world record holder in this event. Now for context, in third place overall is Shane Flowers. Again, a superb performance from him has ensured that he does stay presumably inside that top three. But equal first, coming into it, I stress, is Rongo Keane and Tristan Hoth. Two men we are yet to see. They'll be going last. So let's find out about the scores of Sean Gillen, who managed 49 metres, just shy of the 50-metre mark. We'll find out how good that one is as this competition unfolds and unfurls itself. So we have a number of men still left to go. We have four, and we have, I mentioned the man who is equal first coming into the event. He will be going second to last, the penultimate athlete, but the man up next, he's a local boy, Christian. Now, he got inspired in the front hold. We think it might have something to do with the arrival of his boyfriend Liam here, who came last night. So
Possibly.
Liam's in the crowd tonight. He can't let Liam down. Liam is a Birmingham man himself, and Christian will want to impress his long-term partner and do the business here. Also, Christian's somebody, technically, who's a very, very good strongman. Not necessarily naturally the strongest, but he's a good technician.
He's really strong. He's not the tallest, but like I said, he hurt his hamstring
Yes.
a little while ago,
Yeah.
so that might affect him here. But he's still going to give it a go and see how it feels.
Yeah, he's hurt. He's actually hurt his hamstring quite significantly. He's also possibly tweaked his upper chest, dare I say, encroaching into his shoulder as well. So this is not going to be a nice experience, especially getting the stone into position. But as an Icelandic, he will know the importance of getting that position before he begins. He's in position and he's off, and straight away, Maggie, he looks comfortable in that position.
Yeah, he's looking good. He was a little bit worried that this would, give the hamstring a real test, but he's still going okay. But when you're walking, your hamstring starts getting tight. So, but he's still going okay.
Yeah, he is. You actually see that the width of the man's back when you see the stone on it, the thickness of his rhomboids, the size of his lats there. He really is a very solidly put together dude. And he's now heading into the business area of proceedings here. This is where he can take down a few of his peers, especially his fellow Icelandics. Now, there is a battle within a battle here, and I say that in the friendliest sense of the term, because there are three Icelandics all competing. That's out a roar as I say that. So we have Teddy, we have Sigfús, and we have Christian. They would all love to be the King of Iceland, obviously, in your event, Maggie. And that's put the cat amongst the pigeons.
He did good. I'm interested to see how far he went, actually. If that put him in the top placing so far, that might have been putting him in fourth place.
He looks like he's happy with that performance, and in the context of his injuries, that was a really impressive performance.
I think he's just happy that he managed to do it.
Yeah. And thankfully, he's not limping either, and he's not holding the back of his leg, which does bode well for the remainder. And just a reminder, we are on event 5 of 9 events. We have one more after this today. Hopefully the weather will improve tomorrow, and then we'll have 3 more events. And by the way, the next event is an absolute belter. I do not envy these gentlemen. But, so Christian has hit 51 metres. Now, I said about that battle within a battle. The thing he'll be disappointed to know is Teddy, his compatriot from Iceland, managed 52 metres. Now, as far as the standings go, that puts him, I think, if my maths is correct, that puts him in 4th position as things stand. So slightly above the mid-mark, thank you, Killy, so far. But when you think about the disparity in height of Christian, who's about, I guess, maybe 5'9", versus Teddy, who's about 6'9", that's impressive.
It surely is. You know, he doesn't have the wingspan as long as arm. But he managed to hold on to it, and he didn't go that fast either. I think he was going pretty carefully. He didn't want to tweak at anything, and I think, you know, he was just happy that he got it up there, managed to get going, and it wasn't hurting too much.
Yeah, we're glad to see him get through this. And like Maggie said, he was slow and he was steady. But somebody else who's in that Icelandic battle is Sigfús here. Very much a veteran of all things strength. A wonderful human being as well, Sigfús Fustal. He managed 3 stones or 3 bags in the first throwing event we had yesterday. He managed 2 stones in the natural stone press. He managed 3 stones in the stone to shoulder, and coming into this event is equal 7th position. Now he saw the mark laid down by Teddy, saw the mark laid down by Christian, and he will have that in his sights metaphorically and literally. Now he is slowing, but I'll tell you what, he is battling. He's past them, and that will be crucial. There. He did exactly what he needed to do. He raises that one finger, which, dare I say, says, I'm number 1 here in Iceland today.
He's happy with that. Actually, on the first Magnus Classic 3 years ago, he won the Húsafell stone walk.
Ah, yes. Yeah. So how important is experience in this event, specifically with that stone?
In anything you do, experience plays a big part. But, you know, all these guys are strongmen. I'm pretty sure they've all tried to walk with a stone or whatever. Stones might have different handles on them, or what you would call so, or different grip. But if you got it up there on your chest and you started walking, it pretty much feels the same.
Now, the event earlier on did change things significantly. Now, Sigfús, for context, 56 metres he's managed, which now puts him currently in 3rd place as I'm scanning my eyes down. I think 3rd place, that puts him behind Shane Flowers and of course the mark set by Villiers earlier on, which would take some beating. Thank you, Killy. Superb performance from Sigfús. Now, the next 2 protagonists, this is massive because they coming into this event are in equal 1st place. That all really came about because of what took place in the front hold. Monumental performance from Rongo, who will be the final athlete to go, but the penultimate athlete is Tristan Hoth. Now, he's opened up a gym out in Canada with his partner. It's been open for 2 weeks. He hasn't stepped foot in it since it opened, partly because he's here. His partner, Larry, kindly said, yeah, come and compete as long as you give a good performance. He's giving more than a good performance so far. But the question is, how close to those top 3 guys will he get in this?
Well, this is important. Now, Shane Flowers put a mark for them. You know, they're all on the top there. So for him and Rongo, they need a good score in this one.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That for Shane Flowers, who was 2 points behind them coming into this, we know the mark for him. He's around the 68 metre mark. I think the 80 odd mark set by Villiers, that's a stretch too far. But to get 2nd place is what is at stake here. Now, the first thing you notice is how slowly he's going.
Yeah. Well, the slower you walk, the longer you have to hold it.
Yes.
Actually. But the slower you walk, the more maybe control you have on it, because if you walk fast, it's easy to make a mistake, and I've actually seen that happen here. But he's still looking strong with it.
I would love to have seen the wingspan on the woman who originally did this, Maggie. She must have had some arms on her.
That must have been big woman. He's still hanging on.
Now look at this here, 2 fingers on his right hand. Now hopefully he let go not out of an injury there. I think he was absolutely okay. It just slipped out of his hands at the end. But again, these men, this is the difference to me between, say, strongman and perhaps powerlifting or Olympic lifting. Those athletes who are incredible athletes are strong in very specific planes. These guys are strong no matter what the angle, no matter what the activity, and holding on with 2 fingers.
Yeah, well, you hold on with anything you got, pretty much.
Yeah, we mean anything.
Yeah.
If it's there, you use it.
I think this might have put him in 3rd place so far. So that's only 1 place behind Shane Flowers.
Yes.
So that's good. That's a good score. When we get the official, measurement, we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. It's going to be very, very close. That battle for third place in particular, the third, fourth, fifth, there were not many metres separating them all. We saw Sigfús manage to beat his fellow Icelandic Teddy by about 4 metres. Teddy himself, who managed to beat Christian, the other Icelandic, by about 1 metre. So third, fourth, fifth, sixth, very, very close. And Maggie, 56. Okay, this is cruel. This is cruel. This is unbelievable. This is, oh my goodness. So, separating Tristan and Sigfús, we said it was going to be close, 4 centimetres. And unfortunately, it doesn't go in favour of Tristan. So those 2 fingers, if he had 3 fingers, well, in fact, about the size of his finger is all that separated
If
them.
he would have had 3 fingers on it, he might have got it all centimetres.
Yeah. Wow, that was close. Wow, wow, wow. But what that does mean is that's some interesting news for Rongo. Because were Rongo to not possibly perform as well as he would like, he at least knows that Tristan has fallen foul of Sigfús. So as things stand, we're doing a lot of mental maths here. In first place is Villiers, in second place Shane Flowers, third is Sigfús now, fourth is Tristan. Now, how will Rongo enter the proceedings? He's currently first place going into this event. I stress, going into this event.
He's seen everybody go. He knows the mark. He knows what he needs to do. And, you know, so far we've seen him pull rabbits out of his hat on the last minute. He's been doing really well. And it's going to be interesting. He knows what he needs.
Now, I will just put it out there. Obviously, there's a slight disadvantage in going last, in that the men have obviously slightly churned up the ground beneath them, made it slightly icy if it's going to be icy, making it slightly muddy if it was going to be muddy. And so, oh no, this is crucial. He does need to battle, Kay. He does need to battle.
Ooh, okay.
Now, I will just say this, Mag. I didn't want to say it ahead of it. We saw strapping on his left arm. He actually had a go at lifting the stone earlier, and he immediately put it down because he said that his arm was playing up. Now, we can see that he's walking quite gingerly. I hope that is not something that's going to affect too much of the rest of his competition, because he has been, up to this point, just truly superb and a character on and off the implements.
Oh, yeah, definitely. He's, well, you know, all the athletes have put it out, everything they have here. You know, they every centimetres they could possibly get, they left it out there on the field. And to even see Villiers go this far in these conditions, that's something else.
And because Maggie says he's impressed, but he's not so impressed that he makes the next event easy on the grip or on the hands or on anything. Because up next, when we find out the final results, will be a farmer's walk with a difference, Maggie.
Well, the farmer's I have is a black stone. We have this in Iceland. Is really, you can see this on the black beach and all that. And it's 137 kilos one, and the other one is 142. They're short, they're stocky. If you try to walk too fast, you can actually go wrong, and you can actually catch it on your leg, so it can throw you off. So this is another tough event.
So it's farmer's walk, but very much the walk. Thank you, Killy. Now, we are going to give you the update on this one. So, separating 8th to 11th is about 9 metres, all the men in the 40s. But in fact, I'm just responding to this as I see it. So separating 3rd to about 8th is 10 metres. Crucially, separating 7th to 3rd is about 5 metres. So 1 metre separating each placing. Sean Gillen, 49 metres. Christian Nielsen, 51 metres from Iceland. Teddy from Iceland, 52. Rongo, 54. That's a little bit lower than he would have liked. I hope his bicep is okay. Tristan, 56. 86, remember that number. Sigfús, 56.90, 4 centimetres separating them. And then Shane Flower, 68. Villiers, 83. Superb performances from them. Which now means, as we look to the total results, oh dear, I'm not sure if my blood pressure can take this. So, going into the day, Shane Flowers was leading by 4 points. Coming into this event, he was in third place, but because of joint first, he was only 2 points behind both protagonists, Tristan and Rongo. It's now a joint leader of Shane Flowers and Tristan Hoth with 45 points apiece. 1 point behind them is Rongo with 44. Only 3 points behind Rongo is Vilius Yakusis after that monumental world record performance with 41 points. So just 4 points separating the top 4, 1 point separating the top 3. Other notable scores on the doors, we have Sigfús Fossdal now at 35 points. Crucially, he's leading the battle of the Icelanders, which is significant when you think about who potentially might be qualifying for World's Strongest Man in 2024. Sigfús putting himself, as things stand, very much in amongst the mix. Now we're going to try and have a chat with some of the guys here, because after that performance, that really was worthy of something special. Tristan, can we just have a quick chat, please? Because that was a brilliant, brilliant performance there. You went for possibly one of the slowest paces of anyone, but you really managed to hang in there.
Yeah, I was very worried about my footwork and all the dips and rises that were in there, so I was trying to keep my footwork underneath me instead of running with it. And I know I'm strong enough to keep going, it's just footwork's an issue.
So on the camera, you can't necessarily see just how much the ground undulates, especially over there, and you're going into that blind.
Yeah, you can't see where you're going. You can't look over top of it. I mean, the guys who would come and train here have a lot better, they're it's a lot easier for them to go around. They understand where the footwork is. This is my first time not knowing the dips. I walked around it, but it's really hard to get a layout when you can't even see where you're going.
You're being phenomenally humble about things because you managed to smash it out of the park. And the upshot of that performance is you're now joint first with Shane Flowers.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, eh?
Yeah. I mean, coming into today, what was your aim when you go to bed tonight?
Honestly, going to bed last night, I was top 3. My goal was just to try and maintain that. Right now, farmers, clear space, go and do it really good, get what I can, and I just moving into day 3. I got to maintain that top 3 spot now. It's not where I ever thought I was going to be here, so now it's just maintaining.
And what's your grip like?
Pretty good, yeah.
Right, but what's significant? So your grip's good, plus we saw the pace that you walked at was pedestrian, which bodes very well for a farmer's walk where you're going to have to be careful.
Yeah, I think I'm not too worried about the grip. It's, again, the footwork. At least we can see where we're going.
Right.
Kind of get a better lay when I'm running or walking around with it. So I'm hoping to finish pretty well on this one.
And it's safe to say Larry's going to be a happy man.
Oh, Larry and the gym are definitely going to be happy with this. Yeah, you bet.
Tristan, congratulations. Good luck in the third and final event of the day.
Thank you.
Now, we're also going to see if we can grab a word, possibly with Vilius. Now, that performance from Vilius was something special. We've seen him chuck up his breakfast earlier on. Such was the lactate that was coursing through his system. Now, because the guys have now got their hoodies on, it's very difficult to even see them. But I'm going to look around here because they're actually already thinking about the next event. Now, here he is. He's coming over. Thank you very much, Vilius. Vilius, first of all, we've seen what you had for breakfast. We've seen what you had for lunch. You vomited. So much was how much you gave to that. That was incredible.
Yeah, I gave it all, man. You saw yourself. I was crab walking on the side, putting everything I have left into it. So I was a little bit shy of my record, 31 centimeter. But, it's okay. Next year.
But in these conditions as well, last time you did it, it was nice conditions.
Yeah, it was a lot better. It was no rain, no humidity. We have a little bit of snow, so it makes it a lot more difficult. You see yourself, athletes slipping, tripping, it's a bit hard,
Can I say your speed was unbelievable in that? Was that your strategy?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm the fastest athlete out of here, and I use this as my advantage, to spend less time under tension, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I go faster in the same time the other athletes, so I cover more distance.
And how much do you weigh?
About 118 to 120.
So how are you doing this? Because you're the lightest man here, but in strength, there's no problem.
Yeah, size means nothing, It's the fight inside you have, so...
That means I've got a chance.
Of course you do. Size means nothing, man. You know yourself that.
Villiers, thank you very much. Amazing performance, almost broke his own world record. Good luck in Farmer's
so much.
Walk.
Thank you.
This man, a strong man in every sense of the word. And if you spoke to him earlier, he said, I'm all about the world record. Why does it matter so much? Because of where we're at. We're at Húsafell. We're at the home of where the legendary lift happened with the legendary stone. That's why the crowd have arrived. That's why it means so much to the strongmen. But of course, it's also about trying to win the competition. A little bit of a reminder as well. What Maggie's done, and everyone organising this event, is each of the 9 events have with it a financial incentive. So by winning an event, as Villiers did, that's $500 US. Second place, 400, third 300, fourth 200, and fifth 100. The aim of that being, as Maggie says, it's not the biggest prize money in the world, but it's about rewarding any good performance that takes place, especially if we have perhaps the 8th or 9th event tomorrow. If they're out of perhaps getting on the podium, they still walk away with something. They still have a motivation to compete, obviously for pride, obviously to improve themselves, obviously because they're competitive people, but ultimately life is not free. So we absolutely love that every single individual event gets rewarded. A reminder before we take a short break ahead of the Farmer's Walk, we have Shane Flowers and Tristan Hoth, who we spoke to. They're both sharing the lead with 45 points apiece. 1 point behind those is Rongo Keane from New Zealand with 44 points, and then a little bit further down with 35 points we have Sigfús Frostal, the best of the Icelanders. And just a shout out to Matt Riddle there, didn't manage to lift the stone. He absolutely loved being here, without a shadow of doubt the best beard in all strongman. And just for any of you who are watching, supporting the other athletes to bring you right up to date, we have Teddy Goodmanson is on 24 points. We have Christian Nielsen, the other Icelander, on 26 points. His boyfriend Liam is here. He's not going to be happy with that performance. Christian, something tells me, can he manage to rectify things in the third and final event of the day? Then sharing 29 points, we have Paro Dwyer and Pavlo Kordiaka. Do not write Pavlo Kordiaka off, by the way. He is a world-class strongman by any stretch of the imagination. With 34 points, we have Sean Gillen representing Australia, and I think that rounds just about everyone up. So we're going to take a very short break. Do not go anywhere, because up next with the Farmer's Walk, with a difference, this one isn't to be missed, and it's the final event of the day. Welcome back to Iceland and to Húsafell for the third event of the day. Event 6 overall in the Magnusson Strongman Classic. And up next is a farmer's carry with a difference. Maggie, what have you got in store for us?
Well, these are stones, Icelandic stones. These you can get like really long, and we cut them out because they were like over 200 kilos each. Right. So we cut off them. And there's 137 kilos and 142 kilos. So if you're clever, you pick the heavier one in the hand that is your stronger hand, and you pick up and you walk until you drop it.
So we've just seen in the Húsafell carry the men walking around the circle. So the same lap, different implements.
Exactly.
It's with this. In some farmers carry events, people are able to sprint. Will that be possible here?
I've seen people try to sprint with it, but it doesn't really work.
And that's because of the differentiation in the weight and the awkwardness of it, because I've never seen a farmer's carry like this.
No, that's the only one in the world.
And that is why. And just a reminder, if you are just joining us, we are in the home of Húsafell. The legendary carry up first is Matt Riddle to take on the challenge here. The best beard in all of Strongman, skin to win. Things didn't go as he'd have liked in Húsafell carry, but he couldn't be any more focused for this one. He wants to end the day strong. And just a little bit of context, he was called in very, very last minute due to an injury. He happened to be in the area anyway. He's actually based in Spain, even though he's originally English. So lots of stars aligning, meaning that he could come here and compete and give it his all, which is what we're about to see here. Now, straight away, Maggie, he tried to almost go off quickly, and it threw him back and tripped, as you'd said.
Well, he's desperately, he wants to do better than he did with the Húsafell stone. He didn't get the Húsafell stone, didn't manage to lift it. So he wants to redeem himself here.
So in some farmers' events, you can drop once. That's not the case here.
Nope, it's just when you drop, that's how far as you go. That's where we measure.
And it's not going to be nice on the hands in terms of, presumably the metal is going to be very, very cold at this point.
The metal is cold, possibly slightly wet. But we'll dry it off, and people will put their chalk on and try to have it as dry as possible, but same conditions for everybody.
And thankfully, Maggie, you wouldn't want to give people straps or gloves. Obviously, it has to be just the hands.
I have a word for that. I'm not going to say it.
It's what you sometimes describe me as being. A lovely man is what he means, a lovely man. So Matt has just set the marker out for everyone to go and beat. Now, what's interesting is seeing...
I've always had to believe, this has always been my take on things, it's like, you're never stronger than your weakest link.
Okay,
So if you have a weak rib,
a lot of the old school, as I call them, strongmen believe exactly that, which is why they like things to be. So 13.73 metres is the distance to beat. Thank you, Killy, for that one. So something tells me that will very much get beaten. But what was telling was you said in the briefing about how with this you have to be careful, you have to tread with purpose. Otherwise, you can get tripped up. And we saw that in his first step.
Yeah, it can definitely throw you off. And sometimes actually because they're pretty short, if you take a really big step, it can catch your leg on your leg and turn. And if that happens, I saw it last year, you're done.
Now, just a shout out to Caveman as well. So we saw in the previous event the Húsafell carry that's sponsored by Rogue. This event, the Farmers Walk, is sponsored by Caveman. So you'll see a number of athletes either going skin to win or donning the Caveman shirts. And I have to say, they look flipping awesome competing in this. Look at the triceps poking out of big Paro Dwyer's upper arm there.
Well, these shirts are awesome. They really are. And all the strongmen in Iceland, they love them.
You can see why. The guys look very, very good. Now, a reminder from earlier on, is carrying an injury to his VMO, to his quad, dropping a natural stone on his... Thankfully, it wasn't actually on his patella, but it was on the actual meat of the muscle earlier. Hopefully, that won't cause too much of a hindrance. Now, he was very disappointed with his carry in the Húsafell stone earlier. You can see he is being sucked to the earth by these incredible, awkward and heavy weights. And the upshot of how awkward it is you see that when men drop one side first.
Yeah, these things are not the heaviest things around, or heaviest farmers. They've all done heavier farmers, but they're just so awkward.
Yeah, they're going to have to work out how best to do this. Now, these would be awkward if you were perhaps competing in an arena. Then you add to the fact that you're walking in a circle. Then you add the fact that it's uneven, the ground. Then you add the fact it's not even a firm footing. So it's flipping hard.
It's hard. This is strongman.
Yeah, it's Maggie Strongman, which makes it very hard.
Well, it's going back in the old days, Strongman didn't have all this fancy equipment or whatnot, and the farmers didn't. They just worked with whatever they had.
They were hard men, certainly in Iceland. Now, that is brutal. We mentioned before how close things might be. Now, Parr is being bettered by Matt Riddle by 15 centimetres. Thank you, Killy. And just for knowledge, do the umpires measure from the back of the stone or the front of the stone?
We'll measure to the back of the stone that's on the lesser distance. So if the one is further than the other one, we'll measure to the one that has gone the shorter distance.
Okay. So I guess actually it's then worth when you actually drop the... yes, I'm now getting confused with the Húsafell stone in my head versus the farmers.
Yeah.
So actually it doesn't work by twisting to have one in front.
No.
Yeah, okay.
We'll always measure the one that has the shorter distance.
Thank you for that clarity, actually. That's really, really useful to know.
We got Mika Toro coming up. Actually, Mika Toro won this event last year.
What does that say about an athlete that wins this kind of... What kind of strength does it require?
You need strength, you need grip strength, you need stamina, you need good footing, and you gotta have, your muscle endurance has to be reasonable.
Also, when you are taller, I'm guessing that clearance does make it a little bit more straightforward because we're seeing him, he's not having to be quite so precise with his feet placement, and it doesn't seem to be interrupting his footsteps as much.
Well, he's closer to whatever he made it last year. So he's doing good.
Well done, Mika.
I think he's doing better than last year, actually.
He wanted a better performance after the Húsafell carry, and boy, is he getting it now.
Oh, that's more than one revolution.
That was a superb performance from Mika Toro. He says, come on. He's absolutely delighted with that one. And that, Maggie, is going to take some beating.
Oh, he's really set the mark there. This is going to be tough to beat.
What would be more important? Would it be a strong grip, or would it be overall strength on this one? Because traditionally, perhaps someone like Kevin Fairs, let's say, a very, very strong grip. Would it be static strength? Would it be what for you would be needed?
Well, you have to have a combination. You have to have a good grip. You have to have good balance, and not lactic acid building up too fast. You've got to have the endurance as well.
Yeah, he's absolutely pumped with that one. And what a way to end the day. This is the last event of the day. So 38.75 metres, 3.75 metres more than a single revolution. Thank you, Killy. That is a superb performance there.
Oh, like I said, if I remember right, he won it last year, but that was by a lesser distance. So yeah, I'm remembering that. So this is really, he's really put it up there. He's giving these guys a run for their money on this one.
And I mean, for context as well, he's almost trebled the distance set by Parr and set by Matt so far. Really, really good. Now, if there's somebody who'd be able to almost think their way around this one, it's going to be someone like Pavlo. Now, possibly today hasn't quite gone as he'd have liked, but he's the sort of man who can turn things around in one event.
Pavlo Kordiaka.
He's
He's just getting the feel for it, see what he can allow himself to do. And he's being careful, he's not taking too big steps.
Yeah, he's Europe's strongest man, Pavlo.
He could go slightly faster with it, but he's being really careful.
Yeah, something tells me he wants to guarantee himself a solid performance. No risks. He's going to perhaps negate the idea of maybe doing something phenomenal, but guarantee a solid performance. Now, Now what he's managed to do there is he's managed to not only drop the stones, but he's managed to knock one of the other stones off the wall.
Yeah, he managed to nick that out. But no, that's a pretty good performance with those things, definitely.
I think as well, sometimes good performances, especially in something like a walking event, become catching. Because you see what Mika did, and all of a sudden you think to yourself, right, the bar has now been set. So I wonder how far he would have gone had he not seen Mika's performance.
Well, I think he went as far as he could.
Yeah, it was a brilliant, brilliant performance. And also, Maggie, a shout out to the volunteers here, because this is not easy. They're having to get the mini trolleys here to put the farmers on them, get them back into position, and they're doing this because they love Strongman.
Oh, absolutely. You know, I got a great bunch of crew here, help me out. Like Kelly, he's value, you know, his weight in gold actually.
And it's a lot of weight. How much do you weigh, Kelly?
120 right now. I used to be a bit heavier when I was competing, but I don't need the extra weight right now. So
What was your favourite event?
deadlifts for sure.
What's your best deadlift?
330 in a powerlifting format. In Strongman, what was it, like 350, 360 in equipment and everything?
He's available for coaching services, people. He's available. 23.8 metres to Paolo Cordiaca. Thank you very much. Now that, had we not seen the performance that took place before, we'd be saying that was a brilliant performance. So who knows?
It is a good performance. Mika just did something else that I don't know where he pulled that out from.
Now it's going to be interesting with Sean again. So we've seen Sean do very well with the stones, the natural stones and the stone to shoulder yesterday. How will he fare in this event? Now he's got relatively short arms. And that has actually meant he's got quite a good clearance. Or maybe they're not short arms, maybe he's just so wide they look short.
He's not going slow either.
Yeah.
Got a decent speed on.
I really respect Sean. He doesn't have that much experience because being based in Australia, access to international competitions is limited. But he's loving it here, he's really getting in amongst the mix, and he really is performing phenomenally well, especially for somebody with, I mean, this is the man, when he moved to Australia 10 years ago, weighed 100 kilos. He was a cyclist, and now look at the size of him.
Well, I think if I got it right, I think this is the third competition in 3 weeks.
You're exactly right. In fact, listen, Sean, how much did you weigh when you moved to Australia?
110.
110, and you weigh now?
He's lying. 170.
170. All I'm saying is the bulk went very well. Very well. Unbelievable. So we'll wait to find out how far he managed to carry both of those farmers. Again, I'd be curious to know, if I spoke to the guys, who struggled the most with it encroaching on their stepping, because Sean is a very wide man, he's a thick guy, whereas perhaps Mika's a very wide man himself.
Oh, he's just big.
He's just big. Yeah, he's just big all over. And so Killy doesn't discriminate. Sometimes he comes from the left, sometimes the right. So 18.76 metres. Actually, that puts him in third place so far. So he's managed to better par and better Matt at the very beginning. So 5 men down. What do you think will be needed to get second place, Maggie? We've seen 38 metres from Mika. Something tells me that might not get beaten.
Well, you see, so far there's a lot of gap between second and third.
Yes.
You might see some guys fill into that gap, actually, and I'm expecting them to fill in that gap. I think Rongo walked further than the second place is now last year. So it's going to be interesting, but we still got some good guys coming into this. So I think I'm doubting anybody's going to get Mika on it, but they can get possibly close to it.
Yeah, and somebody who's got experience, obviously being an Icelandic, is Christian, who's up next. Now, we've mentioned the power of his boyfriend, Liam. Liam is in the house. Now, we haven't had a nod from Liam yet to say how happy or unhappy he is with Christian's performance so far, but he's going to need, I think, 20 metres to get half a smile from Liam. So, how will he fare here? Now, what's been amazing about this competition so far is the diversity of sizes Christian's certainly one of the shorter competitors, but we saw a brilliant performance. He's disappointed.
He doesn't have the greatest grip, and grip comes into play in this a lot.
Also, his right hand, it seemed as though the farmer's was almost leaning back on him. Was that wasn't...
Well, some people like to hold differently in the handle, so it's kind of leaning forward a little bit. So you're holding. Some people like that. I used to like it so it would kind of tilt backwards a little bit.
Yes.
So I could kind of steer the front end more. But the others have the 30. If you let it lean forwards, it will actually drag you forward.
Yes, that's... Marcus...
That didn't work for me.
Well, some of the guys here would naturally be using a product. It's Grip Jizz is what it's called. And Marcus, who has curated and engineered the product, he is a strong believer that the tilt forward is what drives you forward. So you see him using that and telling some of his guys to do exactly the same thing there. Now, if we take it, so that was 9 meters and 15 centimeters. So currently at the very, very bottom of things. Yeah, what wasn't to be, and thank you very much, Killy. I guess when grip isn't your strength, it's tough to overcome that.
Oh yeah, well, I believe this contest, how it's set up, what it is. If you have a weakness, it will find it.
Right, but then interestingly, Hapthor Bjornsson many years ago used to have a weak grip, and then the same in fact with Tom Stoltman.
Yeah.
And they've managed to overcome that. So, admittedly, their hands are much larger than someone like Christian's. But are there things you can do to overcome that?
Oh, absolutely. There are things you can do to increase that. When I was training and all that, I hardly ever used straps. I was always used my grip. When I went to the gym first time, I would see guys doing pull downs with straps.
Right.
I'm like, why?
Okay.
And Olympic lifters complaining, my grip isn't too strong, and they were using straps all the time and in training. So I decided to use my hands all the time.
Now straight away here, we've seen almost an immediate imbalance of Teddy here. Almost looks like his upper back has been the thing that's been struggling. Yeah, he's disappointed.
That's surprising because Teddy has a good grip, but he never seemed comfortable after he took off. And I actually think what he did there, trying to have it lean forward, was a wrong move. Okay. My opinion.
Well, like you say, from the moment he picked it up, he seemed unstable. He seemed as though he couldn't quite get his centre of balance. But again, the amazing thing about Strongman is their community, and guys support whether you do well or whether you do not quite so well. And lurking in the background, Maggie, is Vilius. Now, he's done just about everything today. He's almost set a world record. He's vomited. He's cheered. But he looks like a man who wants another brilliant performance here.
Oh, he definitely does. And,
Yeah, so just the 6.5 metres for Teddy. So 2 men in the single figures of Christian and Teddy, which does bode well for Sigfús, a man who would like to be the #1 Icelander here. Obviously, he wants to do it, compete against guys at their best, but with that battle within a battle. But to win the Scandinavian battle and better Finland's Mika Toro, he's going to have to go some. But up next is a Matt, thank you very much. It looks like it's Big Rongo who's going to be going next. Now, Rongo has had an issue with his arm. We saw that kind of unravel itself in the Húsafell carry. Hopefully, having an issue with the bicep won't affect you on farmers usually, but because this is unbalanced...
It could pull into it, but he still might be okay. But he knows he needs it, and he wants it.
If you look at that man's face, I'm not sure what camera angles you've got, if you can see his face, he is a man who's currently already digging incredibly deep. Now he's starting carefully, I would say.
Yeah.
Do we like what we see so far, Maggie?
He's looking good. Because of the weight also, if you take a misstep, you might not be able to correct yourself and you'll just drop it. So, one reason they'll go slowly, they go carefully, but again, they still want to go fast enough.
Now, usually...
He's still battling it.
Go on, Rongo, he's got this dip now to overcome. He's managed to come up the other side. This is just desire.
Yeah.
Total.
He definitely wanted that.
I think that means he'll take it.
He'll take it. I think he was happy with that.
Look at him there. He's big Rongo. He's got too much energy. This guy. Now, some physios might try and encourage getting heat into an affected area. Not when you're Rongo keen.
No. No. He's up to the same thing as last year, just shirt off. He's enjoying this air condition. Coming from 40 Celsius.
Right.
That's what the heat was when he left.
Exactly that. And he's doing manual labour. He works in a gold mine, 42 degrees. And you know the crazy thing about mentality? So what he said is, because it's 42 degrees, it won't affect me. Because he said, I've prepared my brain to block out the temperature. I mean, that is just incredible. I usually say the fact I like heat means I'm rubbish in the cold. I've got no excuse. So 27.09 meters, Rongo Keen. That puts him in second position. I wanted to pause before I said that because he's bettered Pavlo by 4 meters. Again, that is huge. Now we have 4 brilliant athletes left to go. Tristan, Sigfus, Shane and Villiers. Can they better Rongo's 27.09 meters? Thank you, Killy. He basically did everything he could and exactly what he needed to do. But now we have the first of the last 4 athletes to go. And this is Tristan, who I wonder how much experience he has in something like this. It seemed to work for him in the Húsafell carry, slow and steady so far.
He's looking good so far. He did win the Magnus qualifier in Gimli, Canada.
It's worth reminding ourselves there are qualifiers for this event, like you say, in Canada. Will he... Oh, he's looking very strong, actually.
Oh, he's crossed Rongo there. He's still going.
It's amazing the power of having a distance to beat. Can he get a revolution? Can he get a revolution?
Wow. That's a good effort. That's really, really good.
It's really interesting seeing the reactions that some men give when they sort of better what they think is possible. Some, it's shock. His was almost relief. It was relief that...
They get relief when they let go of it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Can we just remind ourselves of the weight of each of the farmers, Maggie?
137 kilos and 142 kilos.
Yeah, massive amounts of weight, especially in an unconventional fashion. So exactly 35 meters. Exactly 1 revolution to the centimeter. So 1 revolution is what's needed to better Tristan. However, in the context of the competition, Shane Flowers, who's sharing the lead with Tristan, will now have to do something pretty special, otherwise Tristan will be out in the lead on his own. And this is an opportunity for Sigfus and Villiers to really move in on the current leaders. Thank you, Killy. Now, with Villiers, he's had an incredible amount of time to rest, by the way. How would his farmers compare to the Húsafell? So in fact, I'll pause that thought for a second because Sigfus is up next, looking awesome in the caveman shirt, properly filling it out. The first thing he did there, Maggie, was he stood right up. He didn't rush that whatsoever.
You're better standing up before you take that step. Some people like to rush it and it can throw you off really easily.
Now with Sigfus, would we expect him to do well in an event like this? He looks like he might be struggling a little bit here.
Yeah, he struggled with that one.
Now,
usually Sigfus has, I've seen him do good things for the farmers. He has a good grip.
now he doesn't look overwhelmed with himself after that. He does look slightly resigned, as though he was possibly expecting that. The big question is for the Battle of the Icelandics is, has he managed to better Christian and Teddy on that one? because again that'll be crucial, because obviously guys would love to win the Magnusson Strongman Classic, but some men will have half an eye on the world's strongest man next year. And what a way to put your stall out there and say, I should be in amongst the mix here as the strongest man in my country, than a good performance here in the MVM Strongman Classic. So Sigfus managing 15 metres and has bettered both of his compatriots of Christian and Teddy, although I know he will be disappointed, would love to have had a better performance. So again, just to speak to the closeness of this, he's bettered Matt Riddle and Paro Dwyer by just over 1 metre. So when we said he was struggling, just those extra couple of steps have added a couple of positions between him and his compatriots, with 9 metres and 6 metres respectively. Currently in the mid-pack, thank you, Killy. And now we're at the business end of this event. 3 men left to go. I think it's 3 men. We've got Shane, we've got Villiers, and it might have been Shane and just Villiers actually left. And so it's big Shane Flowers. He's done many farmers before, but Maggie, this is his first multi-day strongman event. He's never had a day 2 before. He went to Worlds, got injured on day 1. He's currently showing us how it's done. Footwear's gone for trainers. Will he go for the fast option or slow option? We're about to find out. Full extension, he stood up. Now, it's very tough to work out if he looks comfortable here. Or
See how these things get into your legs as well, and makes it just hard to walk with them.
if you saw Rongo's calf afterwards, he's definitely a little bit of skin lighter than he was at the start of this event. Now, Shane looks like he might be struggling early doors here, but he's battling. He's battling on this
Still
one.
fighting it.
I'll tell you what.
He's seen the marks. He knows what he needs to do.
Look how much he's giving this. So, what he said there, for those of you who can lip read, is, my goodness, that was rather heavy. But he was leading this, joint leading it, with Tristan. Now, Villiers is the man to go next. How will Villiers fare in this one? And crucially, we want to find out how far Shane managed to carry this. And once again, telling Maddie, is the events that you've chosen really do test all these guys in different ways.
Yeah.
Because we're seeing Shane did phenomenally well in the Húsafell carry, and by his standards, not nearly as well in the farmers, doing what looks to the layman fairly similar. You pick up a stone, you walk with it. Not the case.
No, it's not the case. Even though, you know, you're still walking with like almost like 280 kilos altogether.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of weight difference from that and the stone.
So Shane managed 21.72 meters. Now he's been bettered by Pavlo, by Mika obviously, by Tristan, and by Rongo, which means all of those men will have encroached slightly on his lead. Now, how much damage can Villiers do to that in his attempt? We saw him move quickly when he has a stone pressed on his chest and he isn't holding it in his hands. How will he fare in the subtly but significantly different event now? And then we're going to bring you right up to date with all the scores so far, because this has potentially put the cat amongst the pigeons after a slight dip by virtue of Shane. A brilliant performance by the likes of Tristan, but we'll bring you all up to date in that very, very shortly. Thank you, Killy.
Here's your coochies.
Here he goes. So, possibly the quickest mover so far. Will he be able to maintain that? He said it's about not having time under tension. And
He's moving good with it. And like I said before, if you can move fast, you know, then you can get further.
His hands are right at the very, very back.
Yep, he likes it that way.
So his farmers are tilting forward, giving him that momentum. This is the business end now. These next few meters are crucial. Can he better Rongo? That's the first question.
He's still fighting.
My goodness, he's
But the
fighting.
lactic acid has been built up there.
These guys really are giving everything. There's nothing left. And 118 kilos he was. What was your heaviest in competition, Maggie?
The heaviest I was in World's Strongest Man was 128 kilos.
Right. Okay.
The heaviest I got was 134, if I remember right, or 36. So
When did you feel at your best, weight-wise?
128.
Okay, and that's It's interesting because we're at this strange point in strongman where the land of the true giants, the likes of your Z, your Shaw, your Thor, dare I say your Eddie as well, in terms of just your massive men, seem to be a bit of a thing of the past because we've seen. I say that we've also got Tom Stoltman, but at the same time we have Alexei Novikov. We have right. We're dealing with a lot of information here. Thank you very much, Killy. I'll finish off by saying you also have someone like a Mitchell Cooper as well. Even a Martins Lisis, the recent winners, aren't massive men. And so,
Big man.
yeah, oh, no question. I mean, I'm 75 kilos, so they're all big compared to me. But to round things up in terms of this event here, so winning the event with a superb 38.75 metres, Mika Toro of Finland, and then 3 metres behind him, we have Tristan Hoth with 35. 8 metres behind him, Rongo Keane. 2 behind him, Villiers. That could be crucial. Pavlo 2 behind him. Shane 2 behind him. And Sean Gillen 3 behind him. Sigfus was the man in 8th place at 15 metres. 9th, Matt Riddle. 10th, Pyro Dwyer. 12th, Christian. And 12th, Teddy. Now, if we look at the top half of the table, again, I don't want to speak too soon here. So we have the top 3 men. One has 56, one has 54, one has 52, and 4th has 50. So for my OCD, this is amazing. The top 4 are each separated by 2 points apiece. So in 4th place, we have Vilius Yakusis. What a day he's had, 50 points. Now in 3rd place, Shane Flowers, who's been up and down like a fiddler's elbow, with 52 points. In 2nd place, Rongo Keane, and in 1st place by 2 points, Tristan Hoth with 56 points. There's then a big drop-off. Sean Gillen and Sigfrid Foster both share 40 points, I mean they share joint 5th. And then we go into the 30s, Mika Toro close behind them with 38, so Pavlo with 37, Par with 32, and then the lads in the 20s are Christian and Teddy. Matt also has 15 points. So, just a reminder, the top 4. 4th place, Shane Flat. 4th place, Vilius Yakusis, 50 points. 3rd place, Shane Flowers, 52. 2nd place, Rongo Keane, 54. And 1st place, as things stand after 6 events, Tristan Hoth. What a performance. He's there with a peace sign. Let's bring him in. Tristan.
Good job, man.
You've had you wanted to be top 3 at the end of the day.
Yeah.
You are top 1. You've had a great day.
Yeah, definitely very happy with my performance today. Very, very happy.
How surprised were you with your farmers? Because the way you started, I thought, it was tough to know how long you were going to go, and you just managed to keep going and keep grinding.
Yeah, I mean, at the end, my legs started giving out. Well, the recovery after the Húsafell wasn't there. I knew my grip was there, but legs just ran out of steam.
How tough is it having the differential in weight?
I honestly didn't notice a difference.
Interesting. No. And what was your tactic in terms of whether you leant it forward or back or level?
I grabbed it right in the middle. I wasn't too trusting of the footwork again, and like having the terrain here isn't the greatest, so I knew that grabbing in the middle, I wouldn't be pulled forward or backwards with it.
And it'd be rude of us, we've mentioned him 2 times today, not to mention for a 3rd time, Big Larry will be delighted. He's now his business partner, and Jim Owner is in 1st place.
Hey, at least we know that I came here for a good reason now. Yes, not just to get away from the gym.
Larry, thank you for letting your mate come here. He's absolutely smashing it. Tristan, sleep well tonight, and we'll see you tomorrow.
You bet. Can't wait.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you.
Let's speak to Big Rongo. Now, Rongo, going into that event, we know we can see you've had strapping on your arm. Things are not ideal. We saw how intense your face was going into that. You just wanted that so much.
Yeah, this is a cruel event. Those farmers are something else, and I just had to pretty much rip and grip, as I said, And I'm very happy with that result because those were hard, but just mental, man, Like all the guys here, we're battling. It's day 2, brother. There's some sore bodies out there across the board.
would it have been easier? No, so Tristan bettered you on that one.
Yeah.
You got the impression that he sort of knew the target to beat ultimately. How helpful is it when you have a distance to go for?
It's a game plan, brother. You know, when you got a target, especially me, Christian and Shane are battling there. It's going to be all the way for today and tomorrow. So I did my best to try and chase Mika, but Mika is absolutely unbelievable at this, you know. So when you've got a target you need to beat, it gives you something to go for, where I had to just put it all on the line. And you can see that last 2 meters was everything I had, everything.
So second, overnight, 3 more events tomorrow. Obviously, you'd love to be leading by 22 points, but I'll tell you what, tomorrow's going to be fascinating.
Like I said from the start, brother, this is a marathon. And I said also the champion will be made on day 3.
And just finally, what would a potential victory or even being on the podium mean to you personally, reigning champion, to double it up?
Just being here is an amazing win. You know, to be able to represent my family, my country, where I'm from, here in Iceland at the Magnus Classic is an awesome achievement. Tomorrow when we all go to battle again, if I do make podium, I'll be going home proud.
And we get to go in the warm bath a little bit later on today.
Here we go, man. Let's go. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Rongo. Now, we've also got to speak to Mika here. Mika, that performance was unbelievable. We know you're good at an event like this. Did you think you were going to perform that well?
Yeah, I know. Last year I won this event, and this year I want to least one circle, but let's go a little bit further. But
how tough does it fit? I wonder, because of your height, does that help? Does it hinder? Because you're tall and wide.
yeah, I think it's helped me because I don't feel the weight not so much pumping in my legs.
Okay.
Or in the end, because legs is tired and then they start pumping. But I got pretty good speed in this event.
Because you didn't slow down at all. You just kept the same, almost like Zydrunas Savickas, just the same speed, doing everything. Did you feel the difference in weight?
No, not really. Yeah. I don't think about it at all. But it doesn't feel it in this. You want to keep it tight, and that's it.
What did it mean to you when you put the farmers down? Because you celebrated, and you could see, a bit like with the bag throw yesterday, you were pretty happy with bag throw. There, you were so happy.
Yeah, I know this is the good result, but because this lineup of the athletes, you never know. Because I was the third one who does it, and you must waiting. There is amazing athletes, and event win it means so much to me.
If you were to go again, fresh, just doing the farmers, how far do you think you could go?
Maybe my grip least maybe 2 laps.
Wow.
I think so. 1.5, but it's not the grip. Grip is not the issue in this point.
Yes.
It's the legs. It's starting to tired and wobbling, and that's the problem because it starts moving so much and not so good balance.
And final question: How does your body feel, especially for a big man, after 6 events?
Now it feels okay, but maybe half an hour it's not so good when you're sitting in the car, and that's very bad. But we go into bed and relax and eating. It feel amazing after that.
See you in the bath. Thank you.
See you. Thank you. Terveisiä Suomeen kannustajille.
Do you have a message you'd like to say?
Yeah. Suomalaisille kannattajille paljon terveisiä ja kiitti kun olette siellä livestreamin ääressä. Lajivoitto. Yes!
Yes, Mika, thank you very much. Everyone here, massive characters here. We want to bring you, obviously, the interaction with all the athletes here. Go on, let's speak to Matt. Matt, come on over, my friend. AK, the Tenerife Pirate, the best breed in all of...
I'm the Tenerife Viking.
Mate, it's been a long day at the office.
Colin Bryce did rename me at Europe's the Tenerife Titan.
What do you prefer?
I've been called all sorts in my time. As long as it's PG friendly, I don't mind.
So the question to you on the comments, should it be the Tenerife Pirate, Viking or Titan? It's over to you to find out. But let's speak
Keep it PG friendly.
Ideally. Mate, what has it been like? Because you were called up so last minute. Some would say it was luck, but the fact that you ultimately had arranged a trip here anyway to come and watch the event, you had put yourself in a position to be selected, you were already flying over, then somebody gets injured, then you get to come here. How cool is it to compete with these guys?
So, I came to Iceland in June to compete with Sigfús up in Akureyri, and I met a few of the guys here. And then when I see the Magnus Classic was on, and I was like, I'm going to go and watch it and just be around these elite level athletes, all these people here. And a week before, I sent Magnus a message and I said, listen, if someone drops out, I'm coming anyway, I'm bringing my kit, I would love the opportunity. Literally the morning of my flight, I get a message saying, I think it was Josh Gregory, couldn't come, we're a man down, there might be a chance later. So, you know, I had a full-on panic, run round, you know, collecting as much stuff and throwing it in a bag as I could. Got on the flight, got off the flight, and the phone went, you're in. And I was like, holy...
And that was French for, my goodness, I'm in.
But yeah, people are right, it's luck, but you've got to cast your rod to catch a fish, you know.
Final question. I said to Maggie, what's the heaviest he's been? He said he generally competed at 128. His heaviest was 135. What's your current weight, first of all?
So I'm around 160 at the minute.
And what's your heaviest you've ever been?
Well, I was 200 kilo.
Which is why I'm asking.
Yeah, and that weren't a strongman 200 kilo. That was a fat slob sofa. I've got a golf cart where I live in Tenerife because we live on a farm.
Okay.
And I used to get the golf cart to drive up to the top where I live. Like, that's how unfit I was. Stairs used to kill me. Everything used to kill me. I'm a comfort eater.
Okay, so for anyone inside at home who isn't necessarily 200 kilos, but perhaps doesn't feel great about where they're at, you're somebody, so you've lost 40 kilos. You've gone from...
lost more in total.
Right, well, and here you are, competing in strongman. You're focused, you're motivated, you're full of energy. What would you say to anyone at home who perhaps needs a bit of inspiration?
Forget about waiting to be motivated. Motivation doesn't exist. Being structured works. Wake up every day and do the same routine. Prep your food or eat the same food every day. Find something you like, count your calories and exercise. And just find something you enjoy. I enjoy lifting heavy things. I'm genetically disproposed.
Yeah.
Is that the right word? I've used loads of big words today. It's been around you. So I enjoy lifting heavy things. So strongman was always something I loved to watch. So I literally used to just get up every day, eat the same thing and train. And then after about 7 or 8 months, I was like, okay, I'm pretty strong. Now I want to do something. So last June, I done my first comp, but it was never my intention to be here.
Yeah.
So for anyone sitting at home, don't think, oh, you know, I could never do that. I could never do it either. But one foot in front of the other every day, when you start to look back, you go, wow, I've really come far, you know.
Hang on here.
Someone's just embarrassing me by picking up the Húsafell for fun.
We've got a lad who's probably, I'm going to go, he's
about the same size as my leg.
He's about 5'9", looks about 80 odd kilos, and he's managed to walk with the Húsafell, so 186 kilos. And that right there is what happens when you are motivated.
Yeah.
Matt, see you in the bath today, my friend. Thank you. And a quick shout out to your missus, by the way, who's been...
Quick, get your face on the camera. This is my everything. She does everything. She's camera woman, she is hairdresser, she's a chef, she does it all.
And the patience of a saint.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Guys, pleasure to have you here. We'll see you tomorrow, and we're going to see you in the baths as well, very, very shortly. In baths.
The bars. See you in the bars.
Now we're going to see if you just go a final quick word with Sigfús, because Sigfús is an amazing human being. In fact, Sigfús, could we have a very quick chat?
Of course, buddy.
How has your day been today for you?
This day's gone a lot better than yesterday.
Yes.
I finished third in the first 2 events.
Yes.
I was a bit iffy about these farmer stones.
Mm-hmm.
They treated me pretty badly a couple of years ago, but I'm happy with how I scored. I would have loved to be higher than 8th place, but with the distance I went, I can't ask for much more now.
And how old are you now?
I'm 40, just turned 40 this year.
And you've been competing in strength for a few years.
26.
20. So what does strongman and what does strength mean to you personally?
It's just a way of life. I mean, like you know, I've been through some shit for the last few years. I had cancer and multiple surgeries and stuff like that, and I've had ups and downs again and again, and I always kept training, but the question always comes up in conversation, like, when you're going to quit? Well, I mean, why would I quit? I absolutely love what I'm doing. I enjoy the shit out of this. Even the bad days, I had a shit day yesterday, but I absolutely love what I was doing. So, it means the world to me.
We can see how much it means to you. Do you want to give a quick shout out to your kids, by the way?
Elsker, tack tegen mig hem morgen. Nee, Friday, ik ga Friday.
Your dad's an absolute legend. Sigfus, thank you very much, my friend. We'll see you in the bars later on.
Thank you,
and
man.
good luck tomorrow. Absolute pleasure talking to this man. I thought we haven't spoken to him. The final person is a quick chat with Christian as well. So Christian, a fellow Icelandic, by the way, has to come over here. Christian, how has your day gone for you today?
It's gone okay. First event, forward hold, did okay there, 4th place.
You did very well in the forward hold.
Yeah, it was good. It's a good event for me. So, but I have a slight tweak in my chest.
Yes. Did that happen yesterday? Because I saw, I think, after the natural stones, I think there was one that you pushed your chest afterwards. I wasn't sure if it started then.
Yeah, so it happened in the warm-ups for the nature stone press. Felt like a pop here, just by the shoulder and the chest. It felt okay, but in the 3rd stone it popped again, and I was like, you know, after that I was a bit sore, and in the shoulder I basically just had to use my one arm. Couldn't push with this one, and today it's a bit sore, but I think I'm okay for the rest of the competition.
And finally, should we have a quick shout out to your wonderful boyfriend Liam in the house? We've mentioned him all day. We said we weren't sure how far you'd have to walk for him to be happy. Would it be 20 metres or whatever? Because we saw the front hold. All of a sudden you were inspired. So we thought the power of Liam. Should we give a shout out to Liam?
Yeah, he definitely drives me on. He's actually I'm the harshest on me.
Okay.
Next to him, he expects a lot from me, so that does drive me a lot. He expects the world from me, and that does drive me. So,
but it comes from a good place. It comes because he sees your potential.
He knows what I'm capable of. So he sees what I do in these events when I don't do as good as I'm supposed to, and he's like, "You can do better than that." I'm like, "Yeah, no."
Well, will he be here tomorrow?
Yeah, he will be. He's always with me. So
he's always with you, whether it's in spirit or physically. Christian, thank you very much for your time, my friend. We'll see this man in the bars. And as for us here, it's time for us to say goodbye for day 2 of the Magnusson Strongman Classic. 6 events down. The top 4 are separated by just 4 people. Thankfully, everyone's really serious. Everyone's really sincere. This couldn't matter anymore because these gentlemen are focused. They're not messing around. They're thinking about tomorrow. They're thinking about the 3rd day. They're thinking about event 7, 8 and 9, because they know, as Ronga would know, as Christian would know, that it's all about 4 men who are separated by just 4 points. 56 for a man at the top. I can't even remember who it is. Who is it? Oh, we got security. That's what we got. I wasn't even sure what was going on. We've got Vilius, Shane, Rongo and Tristan all in the hunt for standing on that trophy. 4 men, but only 3 places will fit on that podium. It is Tristan from Canada, who's now our brand new leader. He shared the lead at one point. He's now out in front by 2 points. 2 points behind him, Rongo Keane. He's been up and down. Big question marks by his hand. Fingers crossed he can get that resolved for tomorrow. And then in 3rd and 4th place, it couldn't be much closer. 3 reasons to watch tomorrow. Well, there are 3 events. 9 events in total. It's safe to say that it's been absolutely off the charts so far. We'll see you tomorrow in a completely different destination, and it's not to be missed. It'll be day 3 of the Magnusson Strongman Classic, and we'll be seeing you at 11 a.m.